Here at the vast NBC Broadcast Laboratories, our finest scientists are working hard to combine the very funny Fresh Prince and the extremely humorous Blossom into one uproarious hour. Let's see what they've come up with. The Fresh Prince Blossom Hour, NBC Monday. Science gone wild.
Good evening. At the top of the news, why would a man kill his 2 children and then turn the gun on himself? We have new information about what may have triggered this horrible family tragedy in Antioch.
Also, California's top cop and a top lawmaker team up on a new plan for gun control.
Plus, the latest on a helicopter crash that has killed 2 people and started a fire in the Sierra. Hello, I'm Carol Bland.
I'm Stan Atkinson at 6:30 now. We have the evening news for you next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bel Air. Bel Air are the only markets that sell sushi made fresh every day. It's perfect for a light meal and great for parties.
It's 6:30 p.m. and you're watching KCRA TV, where the news comes first. With Stan Atkinson, Carol Bland, weather with Shelley Monahan, Walt Gray on sports,
home of Live Copter 3 and Northern California's #1 news team. This is Channel 3 Reports.
He had concealed himself and his daughter in the master bedroom closet. So had we made entry, we'd probably all been vulnerable upon entering because he had a clear shot of us and we would have to look for him.
At the top of the evening news, answers to questions about what may have triggered a horrible family tragedy in Contra Costa County. Police there now say that a chance meeting between a man, his estranged wife, and her boyfriend is what caused the man to turn violent. He killed his 2 children yesterday before turning the gun on himself during a standoff situation in Antioch. Anthony Moore has the story.
Joel Souza called himself Mr. Mom, the primary caregiver, alleging his wife began bar hopping in January. Court documents show as she pulled away, he acted recklessly. Jennifer wrote later, on approximately a weekly basis, he has threatened myself and my children, saying divorce is death. I will just blow us all away now. In May, police say Souza briefly kidnapped the children and wrote this suicide note. You choose to share our children through divorce, which is death to me. My children and I will go to our resting place, since our lives here would just be shattered. Though Jennifer Souza wouldn't prosecute, police felt they should.
Our department felt that the nature of the case, that we wanted to handle it regardless of whether the wife wanted to seek charges by herself. We followed up as much as we can, and we sought charges through the DA.
Meantime, in court, Souza persuaded a judge, a lawyer, his family and wife that he should be allowed to see his children. He wrote, I was angry and upset. I believe she had found her new life more exciting and interesting than me and the children. With these thoughts, I wrote the notes. It was to scare and shock her. I did not intend to do what I wrote. All parties agreed on a restraining order allowing Souza supervised access to his children. Well, what about Joel's note threatening to kill himself and the kids? Jennifer's lawyer tells me Jennifer just didn't believe he'd ever harm his children. In the lawyer's words, sometimes people say things in divorce cases they don't really mean. Anthony Moore for Channel 3 reports.
A spokesman at Child Protective Services would not talk specifically about this case, but did say that the agency would have had no reason to take those children into custody. Stan?
The murder case against former F Street landlady Dorothea Puente could go to the jury as early as tomorrow. Defense attorneys began closing arguments today, asking, where's the proof? Puente is accused of killing 9 people, cashing their benefit checks, and then burying the bodies in the yard of her Sacramento boarding home. The defense admits that she cashed the checks, but says there is nothing to prove how those people died. In Napa County, meantime, startling testimony today from a defense witness in the murder trial of Eric Houston. Houston is accused of opening fire inside Yuba County's Lyndhurst High School last May. 4 people died there, including Houston's former teacher, Robert Brenz. Today, a psychiatrist testified that Brenz had molested Houston, forcing him into a psychotic and delusional state of mind.
Mr. Brenz apparently made a direct attempt to fondle him in the genitals the first time, which caused a significant, overwhelming reaction in Mr. Houston.
2 students involved in the hostage siege also took the stand, saying that Houston had apologized to them just before he surrendered.
The San Francisco high-rise office massacre 11 days ago now is prompting some new attempts at gun control. Attorney General Dan Lundgren and State Senator David Roberti teamed up today to crack down on semi-automatic weapons. Channel 3's Lois Hart reports on how they plan to do this.
When John Ferry stormed a San Francisco office building, killing 8 people and himself, he carried an arsenal of semi-automatic weapons. They were purchased legally in Nevada. California has banned most such weapons, but now there's a move to limit the number of bullets in one clip to 15.
This is the actual weapon? This is the weapon.
Senator David Roberti and Attorney General Dan Lundgren are behind proposed new legislation, supported at a news conference today by police and gun control advocates. Reporters were skeptical that Ferries having to reload more frequently would have gained much for police.
1 or 2 seconds.
So you could have all the magazines you wanted of a limit of 15 and add another couple of seconds and you've got 30 rounds instead of 15.
It would slow me down a little bit.
Let me just answer. First of all, the difference between seconds can be the difference between someone being alive or dead. But, you know, it doesn't take a tremendously skilled individual to kill someone if you got 50 shots as opposed to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
Lundgren and Roberti concede state actions against guns aren't as effective as comprehensive federal laws would be. But also today, they made another move against semi-automatics. They want to ban so-called copycat weapons. California does ban many semi-automatic weapons, but manufacturers, like the one who made Ferry's gun, can get around it easily by just making minor changes to the guns. In Sacramento, Lois Hart, Channel 3 reports.
The bill to limit ammunition has already passed the Senate, and it now goes to the Assembly Public Safety Committee.
Placer County fire crews have now contained a blaze that had been sparked by a deadly helicopter crash this afternoon. The chopper went down into the American River some 10 miles northeast of Auburn. The helicopter apparently hit some power lines, then crashed into the water and killed both of the people aboard and started the fire nearby.
When we came over the area, we saw the fire, we reported the condition of that. We immediately started looking for the power lines because we knew that they were a hazard, and we couldn't locate them initially. And on dropping our altitude a little bit, we could confirm that all 3 power lines had been taken out.
The fire had burned little more than 50 acres. No word yet still on the names of the victims.
A prehistoric find could have a dramatic effect on a new resort proposed for the foothills in western Stanislaus County. Ancient drawings called pictographs have been found on the site about 30 miles southwest of Modesto near Patterson. Channel 3's Kent Pierce reports that this archaeological find could delay development.
The archaeological find lies just a few miles west of one of the busiest freeways in the West, Interstate 5. Oak Flat Valley is cattle country, but that may change.
If current plans materialize, this ranch, which has sat quietly in the coast foothills for over 100 years, may, within another 20, become a community of some 5,000 homes.
It will be called Diablo Grande, a resort complex with golf courses, equestrian trails, and homes on about 1/5 of the ranch's 30,000 acres.
We don't get fog up here. It's a little warm in the summer, but we do get some of the coastal air over here.
As part of the area's environmental study required for the planner's okay, an archaeologist was hired to check the area. Well, he found pictographs, ancient graffiti carved by Native Americans centuries ago. Only a few people know exactly where they are, and they're not saying. Reportedly, they are inside a small hollow in these rocks. Small as they are a sign that there may be more.
So when we discovered signs here, why, we've left out 100 acres here. We're going to preserve.
More study of the area's past must be performed and is planned before the resort project gets the go-ahead.
There'll be 20 square miles of open space that'll be preserved. It'll always be that way.
The tiny pictographs have been undisturbed for centuries, and archaeologists want it kept that way. In western Stanislaus County, Kent Pierce, Channel 3 reports.
And what effect any more archaeological discoveries in Oak Flat Valley will have on the proposed resort project isn't known. The developers say they're willing to do whatever is necessary to preserve those finds.
California's environmental protection laws are coming under heavy fire at the state capitol these days. Lawmakers are nearing a decision on a bill which would make it easier for businesses to meet state environmental regulations. Some say that the regulations would also attract businesses to the state. But as Channel 3's political reporter Greg Larson tells us tonight, Environmentalists do not see the proposed changes in quite the same light.
In 1985, this land just south of Freeport along the river was planned for a high-priced residential development called Huntington Lake. But the plan ran into fierce environmentalist opposition under the 1970 California Environmental Quality Act, better known as CEQA. It requires full environmental impact reports if fair argument is made that damage could be caused by a proposed project. And in 1989...
So the threat of CEQA allowed a small segment of the society that didn't want any growth to go forward to essentially stop our project.
95% of the historic wetlands in the Central Valley have been lost, and it's very important from a habitat preservation standpoint to hold on to those few remaining acres.
California businessmen like Hartman say these laws make it difficult to do business in the state and drive industry elsewhere. And now an assembly panel is nearing a final decision on a plan to ease the CEQA rules requiring the impact reports.
Say CEQA!
But local community leaders who protested against the change today and environmentalists say the change would make abuse too easy.
I think we should strive to find a balance between environmental protection and economic growth, but not throw environmental protection out the window as part of a short-term desire to attract business here at all costs.
If in 1989 the CEQA laws contained provisions like those in the bills now being considered, experts say the land behind me might already have been developed, and the wildlife refuge nearby would probably be in danger.
It's possible that an EIR may not have need to be done, and that would have taken that whole line of litigation away from the environmentalists to challenge the project.
Hartman denies his plan would have hurt the adjacent wetlands and says the economic price to protect these lands is simply too high and that CEQA needs to be revised. Environmentalists say protecting lands like these are worth it and CEQA should stay just as it is. In Freeport, I'm Greg Larson, Channel 3 reports.
Are legal immigrants hurting California's economy? Yes and no, according to a new report. Channel 3's Roy Stearns has the findings when we come back.
Also, what's happening to the hundreds of illegal Chinese immigrants discovered last week off the Pacific coast?
Then a Northern California filmmaker answers to charges of harassing his star. It's a whale of a story you won't want to miss when we come back.
You get a special kind of feeling when you know somebody cares. You see it in the service, there's a certain kind of flair. We always take such pride in giving you our very best. Bel Air, the stores that care about you.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bel Air. Bel Air are the only markets that sell sushi made fresh every day. It's perfect for a light meal and great for parties.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
I'm taking out the trash.
That's absolutely right. You are taking out the trash. Johnny, tell him what he's won.
You've won a party at Harvey's Resort Casino, Lake Tahoe. You'll enjoy a deluxe room, free breakfast, free shows, and a health club for just $55 per person.
Wow. Wow. Hello. Liven up, Sparky. It's a party. And remember, folks, your party's at Harvey's.
You know what shop till you drop really means? To put an outfit together, you've got to run all over the place till you're ready to drop. That's why I love the new Casual Corner. They specialize in great-looking work clothes that are no work to put together. If you want to browse, you browse in peace. If you want help, it's truly helpful. So, if you're tired of shop till you drop, then drop where you shop and come to Casual Corner. Because finding great work clothes shouldn't be work.
Gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. That being so stated, on to the job at hand. Please take note. Listen carefully. To begin,
every one of these executives flew to this important business meeting on a different airline, sampling various meals beverages, onboard services, and other amenities. Can you find the one executive that flew here on Alaska Airlines?
Plus 6.5. Divide the whole quantity by 10.
I am the host. I am recognized by many as one of the best talk show hosts in the world.
KFBK, AM 1530, Sacramento's news station.
3 boatloads of illegal Chinese aliens remain adrift tonight off the coast of Mexico. The Coast Guard stopped the boats last week, forbidding them to proceed on to the U.S. The future of the more than 650 refugees is in limbo as the U.S. and Mexico debate their next move. The White House reportedly is promising to pick up the tab if Mexico processes and then repatriates the refugees. Carol?
And there is more about immigration tonight in the form of this new state report that indeed has some surprising findings. The report shows that contrary to recent headlines, immigrants are not stealing U.S. jobs and are not in the long run hurting the economy. Here's more from Channel 3's Roy Stearns.
This is the newest Labu restaurant in the Sacramento area, to be opened this week by immigrants from Vietnam. My Pham and husband Trong Nguyen, who started the Labu chain 12 years ago.
Today we have 19 Labu stores and 1 lemongrass restaurant, which is a full-service restaurant, and that's the restaurant I work out of.
This represents the best of what State Senator Art Torres is talking about in his new State Senate research report on immigration. It states that legal immigration and influx of refugees can cause short-term economic strain. But in the long term, it's a myth, says the report, that they steal U.S. jobs and hurt the economy.
These data also show immigrants are motivated, hardworking members of our communities who do not deserve any assumption that they were attracted by our welfare system.
Often on opposite sides with Torres, former U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Chief Art Nelson says he agrees with Torres that most legal immigrants become good citizens. But about illegal immigrants, he says,
we're seeing the Chinese problem now, the massive crossing of the Mexican border, the asylum abuses at our airports. These are undercutting our whole system and are hurting us economically as well as our system of laws.
And so both sides agree, stop the illegal flow. The irony here is that both sides now seem to agree that during California's recessionary times, perhaps a moratorium should be put in place temporarily to stop even the legal flow of immigrants until there are better immigration laws and better economic times. At the state capitol, Roy Stearns, Channel 3 reports.
A Northern California filmmaker is in court this week, accused of harassing the underwater star of his latest creation. But the filmmaker says it was actually the star doing the harassing. It's a story you might dub Assistance, Whales, and Videotape. Here's Mark Jones with more.
So I'd like to ask that the witnesses...
Dr. Lee Tepley went on trial today, prosecutors using the underwater photographer's own video to prosecute him. The underwater photography was shown September 20th on NBC's Eyewitness Video. Tepley's assistant, Lisa Costello, surrounded by apparently friendly pilot whales. The court must decide if what happened next was play or harassment.
This whale approached me and just literally stopped. His curiosity was very strong. And so I got closer and closer, and next thing I knew, I was touching him.
After petting the whale for nearly a minute, the whale grabbed Lisa Costello by the ankle and pulled her 50 feet into the ocean's depths. 21 seconds later, it brought her back to the surface. Costello did the touching. Tepley got charged under government guidelines to protect marine mammals.
Well, certainly, I'm well aware of the guidelines. The 100-yard thing that you just mentioned only applies to humpback whales. It doesn't apply to pilot whales.
Killing the whale is a $6,000 fine. The government wants to fine Tepley $10,000 for allowing his assistant to play with one. A court decision is expected within 30 days. In San Francisco, Mark Jones, Channel 3 reports.
You're watching KCRA TV, where the news comes first.
This is a big car. Put it in park. Hey, how's it going?
It's going great.
Where's my food? I love this place. You know, you could have got the sandwich for 99 cents.
I didn't want that. I wanted this.
That's a smart move then, so you're having it your way.
99 cents per sandwich.
Sandwich. Can you do that? Yeah, but it's called a croissant. Check in between the seats. You could reach down in there and find enough change to pay for it. You got the croissant? Is that your favorite thing to get? Yeah. It's your way right away.
Love this place.
Although Hoover can't change the way your home gets dirty, it can change the way your home gets clean with energy-efficient deep cleaning Hoover uprights. On sale now during the Clean Up on Hoover sale at Kmart. The new Elite upright with 15.5 cleaning efficiency rating and 8-foot cleaning reach is only $99. And the Legacy Supreme with 17.5 cleaning efficiency rating, attached tools, and see-through door is just $179. The future of cleaning is yours during the Clean Up on Hoover sale now at Kmart.
By pooling small businesses together, we can give them the same price breaks as big businesses.
Sure, the Chevy full-size is the leader in Northern California, but now there's another reason to drive the best. Chevy's the price leader, too.
Follow the leader.
Just $12,830 for the California Edition pickup with all this.
Follow the leader.
The full-size truck leader, specially equipped for California, just $12,830. That's Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. See your local Chevrolet Geo dealer today.
Follow the leader.
Chevy.
Tonight's Weather Kids is sponsored by San Francisco Federal. We're banking on your neighborhood.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Valdez and I'm from Skyridge Elementary School. Tonight's Weather Kids question is, which is more severe, a watch or a warning? A, warning, B, watch.
We'll get to Sylvia's answer in just a moment. In the meantime, let's go outside and check our current conditions for a Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Downtown, the pressure continues to fall at 29.76. We have a temperature of 92 degrees and winds from the west at 7 miles an hour. Stockton, currently sunny skies, 96. Winds from the west at 14. And Modesto checking in with sunshine. Northwest winds at 15. Just a little bit cooler with a daytime temperature right now of 93. Ended up at only 93 in Modesto, 96 in Stockton, 95 both in Marysville, Yuba City, and also here in Sacramento. San Francisco checked in with an afternoon high of 70. Frontal systems are going to continue to move to the Pacific Northwest the next few days out of the Gulf of Alaska as they move into the British Columbia-Washington border. What it's going to do for us is continue to give us the nice southwest delta breezes. It'll keep temperatures on the warm but not the hot side. For those of you over the Sierra, breezy conditions tomorrow, westerly winds 15 to 25, otherwise lots of sunshine. Winds over the foothills will be variable, about 5 to 15 miles an hour. You're looking at daytime highs from the mid-80s to the low 90s. In the Bay Area along the coast, a lot of low cloudiness and fog burning off to afternoon sunshine. Winds from the west 10 to 25 miles an hour. San Francisco expecting a high of 67. In the Delta, we'll see strong southwest winds 10 to 25 miles an hour, variable 5 to 15 elsewhere. Daytime temperatures just a little bit cooler than they were today, upper 80s and low 90s. The extended forecast is calling for the same type of thing to continue for us at least through Thursday, and then gradually heading into Friday and Saturday, we'll see a slight warming trend. Temperatures will be back up into the upper 90s. And the answer to Sylvia's Weather Kids question tonight is, which is more severe, a warning. A watch means it's possible. For example, a winter storm watch. If it's upgraded to a warning, it means that it's imminent. Walt's here. He has Monday Night Sports for you right after this.
Something's growing in your neighborhood. In a way, it's like grassroots because it's homegrown. Right here in Sacramento. You could call it commitment. We call it the heart of San Francisco Federal people. Working where they live and caring where they work. Open Saturdays, too, because you need a little more time to take care of your life. San Francisco Federal, in the heart of Sacramento for over 50 years.
Kenny Rogers is a professional card player, and Reba McEntire is his feisty companion on a cross-country adventure in The Gambler Returns, Luck of the Draw, tonight on Channel 3.
What I like about Braley and Graham is you don't have a half dozen salesmen swarming over you the minute you set foot on the lot. 40 California Regals to choose from. All equipped the way Californians like. V6, anti-lock brakes, leather, air conditioning, concert sound system, and all at the no-haggle value price of $17,999. Okay, now I'm ready to talk to a salesman.
Hi, let me show you the $17,999 California Regal I want.
At the Valley's Volume Buick dealer, Braley and Graham Buick, 2200 Fulton Avenue, Sacramento.
A priest is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's why Father Stephen Beal of St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Woodland signed up with Pactel Cellular. Father Beal says Pactel Cellular displays an almost religious devotion to customer service. In fact, more people in a recent survey rated Pactel Cellular #1 for local coverage, call clarity, and reliability. Now, Father Beal's found his calling. How about you? Pactel Cellular. You can't beat the system.
Inside Edition is the daily news magazine that goes undercover, takes on the bad guys, and shows what's really going on. For investigations that matter to you, watch Inside Edition.
To a new breed of gangster, this truck is the target of a violent insurance ripoff. Inside Edition exposes a murderous new con game.
On American highways, suicide squads are on a deadly mission, and truck drivers are sitting ducks. Don't miss this Inside Edition investigation.
Monday at 10:30 on Channel 3.
Again, another strange day for auto racing fans. 2 NASCAR drivers seriously hurt in an accident that had nothing to do with a race or even a car. 32-year-old Davey Allison, who finished second in yesterday's race in New Hampshire, was flying his helicopter out of the infield at Talladega today when it crashed. Also aboard the copter was driving legend Red Farmer. Farmer crawled from the wreck. Both are at Caraway Med Center in Talladega. Allison reported in a coma with serious head injuries. He's undergone surgery, as has Farmer. They were the only 2 in the chopper. Allison's brother Clifford was killed in a wreck last year at Michigan Raceway. Well, the Sacramento Gold Miners have a homecoming scheduled for this Saturday night at Hornet Field, and the guest of honor is Calgary quarterback Doug Flutie. Now, the Gold Miners are 0-2, and they haven't found a way yet to stop the likes of lesser CFL quarterbacks like Hamilton's Don McPherson, so how they'll corral Flutie and his league champion Stampeders is a good guess. The CFL game was supposed to be a learning experience for Sacramento. Hopefully, it won't end up becoming a nightmare.
Canadian League is a fine league. It's an excellent brand of football. It's different. We have to get accustomed to the flow and the tempo of the ball game. The coverages, the approaches are different in this league.
Well, Major League Baseball All-Stars are in Baltimore getting primed for tomorrow night's All-Star Game. Celebrity hitting contest. You saw actor Bill Murray, the NBA's Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Jim Belushi, Patrick Ewing. 7 celebrities competed in a home run hitting contest. Only Tom Selleck hit one out 318 feet. That off Mark Fidrich. Okay, when it comes to time trials and cycling, Spain's Miguel Indurain was the guy again today. He won the 9th stage of the Tour de France, winning a 37-mile time trial. In the process, Miguel Indurain now has the overall lead at the Tour de France. And here's a bolt from the blue. The Washington Bullets have signed their top pick, forward Calvert Chaney of Indiana. Chaney was the 6th pick of the draft. It is a 6-year deal, and his new deal should speed up the signing of the 7th pick of the draft, none other than the Kings' Bobby Hurley. So this guy signs. It's just kind of out of nowhere. Normally we have some of the lesser picks and maybe a top pick, but all of a sudden Calvert Chaney signs. So that's good news for the Kings. That should help in their negotiations with Hurley.
What about Bill Murray? Didn't he hit a big one today?
No, just Selleck. That's it.
And he didn't sign with the Kings either, did he?
No, not that I know of.
Thanks, Paul.
Well, coming up tonight when Channel 3 reports next with the primetime news at 10. In just a few hours, one of the most talked about Northern California trials in a long time begins, the murder trial for Ellie Nessler. Plus, records are falling left and right at movie theaters this summer. We'll find out more about that and why. And we'll tell you which heavily promoted movie is making a huge flop at the box office. All tonight, all here on our news, all at 10.
We were looking at those pictures of The Firm. I don't think that's the movie you're talking about, though.
No, I think it's another one that
Something
starts
else.
with Arnold and ends with Schwarzenegger.
Big hint.
Shelling continued today outside Sacramento.
In a world of 5 or 50 or even 500 channels, there's still only one channel where you can wake up with the highest-rated local morning news in the country. Only one channel where you can share a laugh with Seinfeld every Thursday. And only one channel where you can get your news from Northern California's undisputed #1 choice for news for nearly 40 years. That channel is KCRA TV Channel 3, where the news comes first.